Hello and welcome to Becoming Abundant podcast. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and this is our side of the internet where we get to speak about true abundance, personal authority, emotional optimization, and the pure power of alignment, all while living in the presence and guidance of God Himself. I am a holistic coach and mentor focusing on healing the emotions keeping you stuck so that the mind and body can align and live a limitless life. We all have a mission and a purpose, and I am here to help you unchain from what's been holding you back to actually live in your full potential. Think of it as transformative triggering in the best possible way. The time has come to live a life you love. Let's dive in. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to this week's episode of Becoming Abundant podcast. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and I have to tell you guys a little secret. But before we dive into that, make sure you, 1, share with a friend, 2, subscribe to my channel, free, like, comment, make sure everyone knows about this because we are building here a community set on freedom of the mind, freedom of the heart, freedom of habits, freedom all around, living in a fulfilled, free life. So, that being said, I am spicy on this episode, and I'll tell you why. I started recording this episode about 45,000 times already today. It is Wednesday when I'm recording, so I am again close to my deadline of posting this so it goes out live on the day you're listening to, Thursday, I presume. But every time I clicked record, either something happened, my cat meowed, the microphone died, something was going on outside, so there was super much noise. Everything that could possibly happen happened. I'm still waiting right now for another shoe to drop somewhere, maybe even a potential shoe because I'm quite close to my shoe rack. But we'll see how that goes. I wanted to talk in this episode about New Year's resolutions. Now, you know how so many of us, myself included, have the desire to set New Year's resolutions because a new year, new you, new everything. I've stopped setting New Year's resolutions, and I'll tell you why. You can start a new habit any day of the week, any hour of the day, any minute of an hour. Even right now, you could decide to start a new habit and your life will change completely. We don't need a new year to start something new. You don't need a new year to be in tune with the crowd that's changing their lives at the beginning of a new year. You can be the odd one out that decides to go on a marathon mid-year and you're starting to train right now. You can be the odd one that starts a new podcast middle of August, and that's totally fine. You can be the odd one that launches something during the best summer holiday season when no one buys anything because everyone wants to just enjoy the summer ones. And it can be thriving and fantastic and spectacular. You do not need a beginning of the year to do anything. We are already a week into 2025, almost at 2024 because hello, that is a habit. We're a whole new week into 2025, January, and I can tell you hand on heart, so many people already fell off their habits because life happened, because it's not something new, because something didn't feel right, because they forgot, because it didn't actually resonate with what they wanted out of their life. So many habits are being dropped in January. Between the 2nd and the 3rd week of January, so many habits are dropped. And so many habits are taking down mental health of people because of them not working. Whenever we want to have a habit happen, there are 3 things happening. 1, you need to decide. 2, you need to kind of bring some strategy into play. And 3, you need to commit to yourself that you're doing it for yourself. Because if you're doing it to impress someone, do it for show, do it for significance, do it for glamour and gold and glitter, it is shit and it's not gonna stick, because no one will care about it and you will not feel authentic and you will hate it. I have stories now. A couple of years ago, I got on a habit mid-year of going through the 75 hard challenge. And I can tell you hand on heart, I will never do that again. I did it, I finished it. I found excuses every day to not continue, yet I finished it because I was part of the group that we were all doing it. And at the end of the 75 hard challenge, I went into a mental and emotional burnout. 2 weeks, I was not myself. So let me tell you what happened. My body doesn't like to work out every day. My body doesn't like to work out every day one time, but the challenge has 2 workouts per day. So there were 2 workouts. I had to get out of the house every day, and I had to eat a certain diet. And I decided, hey, we're eating protein. That was fine. The diet I still keep, so that was a great habit that I've built. But the fact that I wanted to prove to others that I am able to do that, instead of just doing it for myself, put me in such a mental and actually physical burnout that it took me a few months to start gaining weight back, because my body was overburning from too much exercising. And I knew that might have happened. I knew and kind of was expecting something in those lines to show up, because as a former ballerina, former yoga teacher, former person that did a lot of exercising in her life, I know my body very well. I knew something was gonna pop up. I wasn't expecting it to be that harsh. So, habit, pushed through, made it happen. It completely sucked. The thing is, whenever we want to do habits for others, for show, for significance, for proving that we can do it, it's not for our well-being. It's not for us to feel in tune with what we need. What I needed back then was to rest. What I needed was to move my body in a way that wouldn't feel like I'm burning, creating too much fire inside of me. What I needed was comfort and relaxation, because that earlier that year I went through a whole training to become a coach under a specific brand. We'll leave it at that. But I didn't realize that it would burn me out so much, because I was on a high, I was on a wave. So circling back to 2025 January, I stopped putting habits and decisions on me just because it's a new year, fresh new year, fresh new you, new year, new you. It's new year, better me. It's new day, better me. It's new hour, better me. I was learning this week in one of our master classes with Melanie Arnlayer. She's doing a magnificent program now called God Zone, and she's teaching us all about leaning more into living in faith versus fear. And I'll even leave you with, from all of that, with the question of, how would you show up in your day-to-day life? Doesn't matter that it's January, doesn't matter that it's a new year. How will you show up in your life, in your day-to-day life, when you're living from faith and not from fear? See what comes up. But besides that question, we were going through this masterclass, and I found myself realizing how much I chose in the past from fear, from worry, from concern, from not disappointing others, versus having faith that What needs to happen will happen. What is mine shows up for me. And the habits that I choose have nothing to do with anyone else. Nothing to do with anyone else. So the habits that I have chosen in the past year have been only habits to serve me. I started randomly in the middle of the year learning again Spanish, so I'm in my 300 plus day of Spanish in Duolingo. I'm also relearning French because I forgot completely most tenses and words in that magnificent language. I've started working out on a consistent basis just to move my body, going for walks, going for a yoga, maybe qigong, maybe a quick 15-minute weight training in the morning. But that's it. It's no longer stress. Habits do not cause me stress anymore, and they just feel right. I started at the beginning of December, I believe, or end of November, a habit of reading the Bible every morning from the Holy Bible app. I recommend it if you want to get back into or even just build a habit of talking to God more every day. I'm at my 40 something day already because I created it so simply that I just wake up and open the app and I'm there for it, and I talk to God and I read the words, and it's simple. Habits made for other people will not align with what you need. Habits made for yourself will become simple, will become consistent, will become accessible, and you can start them every day of the week. You do not need a whole year, month, whatever to pass by. You can start it now. And here's my problem with New Year's resolutions. It is said that January, I might be getting this wrong, but let's go with what I remember now. It is said that January 18th is the saddest day of the year. It's the day where it's really dark outside most of the time, if you're not living in Florida in winter such as I do. It's really dark outside, it's cold, you fell off your wagon with all your habits, holidays are far away, you feel like there's nothing happening anytime soon, there's not much vitamin D in the air, and you get depressed. And because you get depressed, you think life is useless, boring, I can't do this, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not proud enough, I'm not anything. You start talking bad about yourself. But circling back to why is this happening the third week of the first month of the year? It's because, and it's in my belief, don't come at me saying it's not that. It might not be that. This is what I believe. So that's why you're here, to learn something new. It is my belief that those things happen in the third month, in the third week of the month, the first month of the year, because we set out goals that are unreasonable, unachievable, not fulfilling, not structured, not strategized, because we want to prove to others that we can do it. What would happen if you just wanted to prove to yourself and you said nothing to anyone? I started my habits randomly, one day, and then I would talk about them 2-3 months in them. Like, oh yeah, I started doing this too, it's really good. What changed? What changed the perspective from starting at the beginning of the year versus starting when it feels right? You don't put pressure on yourself, unreasonable pressure on yourself, so you get to actually create the habit that is aligned with you. You do not do things just to please others. So you start showing up from a place of honoring yourself, your true self inside of you. You do not show up in a habit that is not aligned with your body structure, your mental stability, your emotional mastery, your spiritual growth. You are showing up for a habit just because it feels right. And when it feels right, it's simpler, it's more achievable, it's more fun, and you do it for you. So my other question that I want to ask you guys is, when's the last time you did something just for yourself? Build a new habit, pick up a new hobby, something that you thought for yourself, I really think I would like crocheting cats in glow-in-the-dark string on a Wednesday afternoon in the middle of the year. What would that look like for you? To honor yourself with what you want to do without waiting for a month to change, a year to change, a season to change, someone to encourage you, someone to validate you, someone to push you up and forward. You're just doing it for you. You're the one validating you. You're the one encouraging you. How would that show up for you? How would that feel? And because it's, and see what lands there. And because it's also the second week of January 2025, I'm here to remind any one of you who started a habit and fell off that it's okay to start over. If you want to try it again and again and again, don't give yourself crap for falling off the wagon. Just get back up and continue. Give yourself grace for whatever pushed you off your track and bring yourself back without guilting yourself, without putting yourself down, without crapping all over your faith and hope and drive, because that is what's getting in the way. You being your worst enemy is getting in the way of you being your best friend. So another question. How would you show up to be your best friend this year, this whole year? Anytime something would happen that would push you off, show up as your best friend and be like, oh my God, girl, guy, dude, love, you fell off. Laugh at yourself, because it always happens. Pick yourself back up and allow yourself to laugh, find hope, find faith, find drive again, and get back. Without shaming yourself, in front of others, anywhere where you walk. Stop wearing your shame like it's a badge of honor. Oh, I started gym for 2 weeks, but then those donuts looked fantastic, so I just gave up. Excuse my language, but fuck that shit. Stop talking to yourself like you are a second-class citizen in Nazi Germany. Just chill out. You don't need that. You do not need to be your own version of Hitler. It's okay. When we do become our own friends, we talk nicer to each other. We talk nicer to ourselves. We show up different. We show up with love, with compassion, with presence. We show up with truth. We show up with grace. How would your life be impacted when you showed up with grace and truth and love for yourself every day? No matter what happened, no matter how bad it gets for you, you show up with being your best cheerleader and loving yourself through it all. How would the quality of your life change from that? I can tell you, changes drastically. Why is that? We as human beings are electromagnetic beings. Whatever we put out as electricity we attract back as magnetism. So think of yourself as a radio. I probably told you in a few episodes ago about this. As a frequency, we see the things that we are attuned to. So when inside of you, you're talking shit about yourself, you're gonna attract around you in your environment experiences that only attract more shit into your life. But if you are done with the shit, what kind of soil are you ready to plant your flowers in, your blooms? What are you capable of doing when you attune your frequency to something better? How would it be for you to shift from the perspective of, hey, I hate myself for doing this, to, hey, I trust myself that I can do better doing this. That's it. Simplicity and love is the thing that I invite you to attract into your life moving forward into 2025. If you decide to put habits in place, make sure they're habits that serve you and not the image of you. We don't care about the image. We care about you. We care about you to actually thrive, to feel fantastic, to experience the fullness and fulfillment of life. We don't want you just as a shell of a pretty image and inside you're rotting. No, far from that. We want the love, we want the excitement, we want the joy. So, my loves, I'll keep it short and I'll leave you with this. When you look at your year ahead, what needs to change in you and in your habits and in your ways of doing things so that you can become your own best friend? And let me know either in the comments below or in an email or text message or whatever you want to share with me. Let me know your answers because I'm really curious how that can shift your perspective of who you are into who you get to be. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in text messages, DMs. Make sure you email me at info@becomingabundant.net or on my socials at IamBecomingAbundant. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I love you super much. You're freaking awesome. I'm so excited for new things to come into the Becoming Abundant community as we progress. So make sure you sign up for my newsletter. You have it in the description box below. And until next week, my loves, I love you, thank you, and stay salty and bright. Bye now.